Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Elite City Podcast. Today we'll be spending the bulk of this show talking about Blood and Guts, everything that happened at that event. Blasco's on assignment working on something right now, so we'll tell everyone about that a little bit later when we can. But today I'm joined with Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hi.
And back from her home planet, it's Biddy.
Biddy's back.
You made it.
Should I explain why I've been gone?
Yeah.
Our kayfabe explanation is you just went back to your home planet, a la Poochie.
I like that.
But you can explain if there's a better story. Feel free.
The sad real story is I bought a house. Yay! And a week before I closed on the house, my dad died suddenly. Boo! So I've been dealing with a lot of life. So there's that. Sorry to put a little bummer, but I'm back. Yay!
Now, because I'm a bad person, I waited the appropriate number of days and then asked if it was okay for us to make Christian Cage references, and you correctly said yes, it was fine. So,
100%. Yes, I am now in the Dead Dad Club, and Christian Cage is now my new daddy. So,
well, speaking of insulting dead relatives, MJF started the show this week and began insulting dead relatives.
I did like also his insult of the British.
Yeah.
Oi, bruv.
Now, how did we feel about him kind of stealing Christian's dead relative insult gimmick here? Because he made fun of Osprey's dead grandmother. I felt like that was gimmick infringement.
I think he went so very real hard on the American gimmick that you didn't even realize that unless you really stopped for 10 seconds and thought about it.
Yeah,
that was my chair. That was not a fart.
He didn't do as good of a job as Christian, though. He seemed like his dead relative gimmick needs a bit of work. I think Christian does it better.
Oh, Christian's the god at that.
The god of making fun of people's dead relatives.
Yeah.
And you mentioned his American gimmick. Now, I thought it was a little maybe off base, not the right target market for this, because he debuted an All-American belt as a heel, but then got a USA chant because he was in America. That was a little odd to me. I feel like if he was going to do that, he should have done it when they were in Canada or something to get booed.
That would have been perfect. But
they weren't going to boo an All-American belt in Nashville.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, part of that I feel is the crowd. I mean, first of all, stop saying what every time somebody that doesn't speak English as a first language gets on the TV. My God.
Or anyone. If I said this last week, any crowd that starts a what chant, they shouldn't come back there. That's it.
I mean,
you lost your live show privileges.
They started chanting. I don't even know what they were chanting, and he was like, "Stop that! Stop that!" Like, I think part of it's the crowd. You know.
Well,
but it is the American title now, apparently.
Yes.
So.
Well,
feels like
he's obviously I don't want to get into politics, and so I'll try to keep it vague. But he's obviously just pushing into the the atmosphere of what America is.
The current political landscape.
Yeah. Right.
I also feel like it's kind of a jab at Cody too. Oh. Like, it's the American title, like, because Cody's all American. And
oh my God, what would you have done if he had a temporary tattoo? Like what?
Now he has to.
Oh my God.
But like so American flag, but also with like the Burberry checkerboard pattern, but also an American flag. Like that wolf thing he had on his shirt. Do that, but with like red,
on his neck.
But with red, white, and blue.
Oh my God.
I would love that. That would be the greatest thing I've ever seen. I think that would be outstanding.
I might evacuate my guts if I see that.
I did like though that he's pulling an all-American, every other country sucks gimmick, but he's a heel, which is unique in wrestling because wrestling is usually like the guy with the American flag is everyone's favorite.
Right.
And and
Well,
the
I
evil
mean,
foreign heel.
that's
So it's
true.
kind of
Well, I
cool.
mean, Sam Adonis makes that work in Mexico, but also he's the American in Mexico, so he's not the hero,
Right. But like
essentially.
traditionally, the guy with the red, white, and blue is
Right.
is the face,
Right.
and I think it's kind of cool that he's right. You're all right. He's playing on like the modern landscape of
It fits.
not everyone loves America, and yeah,
That's MJ. I love his work. He came back. He's right back to being the most ultimate heel.
Hmm.
He's so good at it, and yeah, he's just oh man, MJF like he's so good at his job.
Yeah, I think he is one of the best on the mic that AEW has. He's very quick, he's very articulate, and he like goes for the throat each time. Like,
and he
he's very
plays with the
good.
crowd really well too. Like when
Yes.
I noticed Christian does it too. When the crowd isn't, when he says something like offensive or mean, and the crowd doesn't react like negatively enough, like they're not booing as much as he wants them to. He
Yeah.
kind of like, looks out at the crowd and shrugs, and then they
Mhm.
boo, and he's like, okay, I did it. I got it.
Yeah.
Like he does a good job.
MJF's what, 27?
Yeah, he's really young. He's really young.
He's very young, yeah.
He's already such a freaking master at this.
Yeah, and he's very young, and yeah, that's I mean, he could be doing this for 20 more years, right? So
He
that's-
probably will. That's
Mhm. For sure.
Now Will Ospreay came out and
Yes.
interrupted him and scared him off, and then announced that he talked to Tony Khan and Christopher Daniels, and he has a match with MJF at All In for
Mhm.
the international / American title. That'll be a fun match. I mean, the match they had was really good. The 1 hour long match. Now it's not going to be an hour because it's on All In. I'm assuming they're not going to do like an Iron Man match or something there. So then what can they do to kind of top their last match if they're not going to go an hour?
I think Osprey's gonna beat his ass and win it back.
But like just a regular like one-on-one match? Or do you think they're going to put some kind of state gimmick on there, like a ladder or
I don't know,
something?
but I think well, I guess this can segue into what's going to be the main match at All In.
Yeah, I mean, feud-wise, we'll talk about it later, but feud-wise, I think the best feud is Toni Storm and Mariah May.
Oh, hands down.
But I feel like if it's Danielson, it has to be like Danielson's going to close the show.
That's his last oomph. It's gonna be
Yeah.
Danielson.
Yeah.
It's going to be him.
Yeah. For sure.
Now,
I
an
can see
interesting
them,
thing is
yeah.
they did mention that I forget when he won it, but Pac, it's Pac, right? Yeah, not
Yeah.
Pac. Pac is also number one contender for the national title, so I don't actually know what's going on because he won a match to become number one contender, but then Will Ospreay was just like, no, I talked to Tony Khan and I get the match.
Can I
So
just say I love the new thing with Pac and the camera angle? He just
That
stands
was
there
cool.
and stares into the
And they film it like through the side of the yeah, I love that.
I love it.
It looks really cool.
I love him. He's
It's
great.
great. It was good. It's good stuff.
As my dad always said, he looks like a Cadillac barreling down I-79 with its doors wide open. Bless
Did your
his
dad actually say
Very
that?
niche reference. It's a very niche reference.
I
It's
don't
'cause
know
he
what's happening.
Because he has big ears.
Yeah.
Oh. Did
Cadillac
your
Get
dad,
it?
did your
Big
dad
cars.
actually know who Pac was?
No, he's
Oh,
dead
alright.
now.
No, I know
My
that.
dad, not
Like
not
Pac
Pac.
existed prior to like a couple months ago.
Even when he was alive, he had no idea.
So, moving on. We had Chris Statlander attack Willow Nightingale backstage. And I love this feud. I love heel Chris Statlander. I didn't think I would, but I think it's great.
I like heel Chris Statlander, but I also think like this is gonna be the thing, like because Willow's like this really sweet, like bubbly, like kind of person, and I think it's gonna like push her, and then she's just gonna like lose her shit.
She's gonna snap.
I think she's gonna snap.
I would like that if she's happy and bubbly and positive, and then she just goes nuts on Chris Statlander.
Because they just keep like bullying her.
Yeah.
And I mean it really is like bullying. And
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think she's gonna snap, and it'd be very cool to see her like whoop Chris's butt.
She's gonna snap, but she's still gonna be a baby face about it.
Oh, absolutely.
She's gonna do it and still like smile and everyone will love her because
Mhm.
she's like ultimate face. She's
Right.
You can't not like Willow. She's
Right.
like lovable and sweet, and I love the nothing matters smile anyway. I love it. the only shirt they have has like her on it, which I hate wrestling shirts that have pictures of wrestlers on them. They should just make a shirt that says "Nothing Matters, Smile Anyway," and nothing else. Just like have that on it, people would buy it. It's a cool.
I think
It's a
that's
cool
a great
slogan.
shirt, as long as you don't put that big tacky AEW logo on it.
Oh, they will. It's a
I
wrestling shirt.
know, I
Oh, yeah.
know, but it would be.
Every wrestling shirt needs to go, hey, by the way, this is a wrestling shirt.
I know it doesn't need to though.
I
Is
know.
my
Oh,
point.
here's a little inside baseball for you. Blasco doesn't buy any new clothes unless he gets it from the AEW crate.
Yes.
We learned that today.
And immediately told everyone listening.
Hey, you know what, Blasco? If you didn't like it, you should have been here.
That's what
That's
you
right.
get for not being on the podcast.
So I assume when I'm not here, you guys just pick on me.
Only if Biddy's on.
No,
Oh, okay.
I haven't
need-
been on how many weeks?
Yeah, that's
know.
why.
So
Blasco thought he was safe because you weren't around
I'm
very
sure
much.
I
so.
got all the poo-poo.
She's
You know
she's
what?
all the dirt on us.
There was a podcast that a few weeks ago, Jay, when you weren't on, that like at the very end, just to prove that you don't listen to our podcast, we went on like a 5-minute bit about how much you love AI, and
No.
feel like we should use it for everything. And it was weeks ago now, so we know you don't listen, but I enjoyed it.
I
Well, that's
I,
the thing. Oh, sorry. Go.
I do need to listen to the ones I'm not on. I just have I've told Rick I have this thing about listening to my own voice and I hate it. So I won't listen to the ones that we actually record. I'm weird like that.
I used to be like that, and then
Your
life
job?
happened. Yeah, exactly.
Is it weird that the only podcasts I've traditionally listened to throughout like my since podcasts are the ones that I'm on? I only listen to my own podcasts.
That sounds very narcissistic.
Wow, you're
It's-
vain.
I am. I'm only interested in what I have, and like I monopolize most of the conversation. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. Listen,
I'm
to
a
you
white man
I
between
can't
the
stand
ages
it.
of 35. I'm a
I
white
don't-
man between the ages of 35 and
That's-
42. Everybody wants to listen to what I have to say.
I'm a white man with opinions. Here we go.
Moving along, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD of Pittsburgh fame for you too, versus
She's
not
a
even-
local.
She's not from here.
She's
She
not,
went
though.
to Penn State.
She did go to Penn State and then she went to Pitt Dental School, but she's
Oh,
kind of like an
okay.
honorary Yinzer.
Okay,
I'm-
she went to Penn Dental, which, to be fair, I had a friend that started at my college and then went to Pitt Dental School and failed out because it was so hard. So
So
No.
are you saying that wrestling lies when they say she's from Pittsburgh?
I
I'm
mean,
not.
she
She's from
lives here.
Punxsutawney.
She's from Punxsutawney.
Yeah.
Oh, like the
She's from, like-
groundhog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's from like more
Ah.
of the sticks than I am, and I'm from the place where Trump
And-
got shot.
Yeah. But she went to
I
Penn
like this. You can
State
say
and then
that now, though. That's
oh,
now your thing. Now you can say I'm from the place
Oh,
yeah.
where a former president was shot.
yeah. If you ever go to like Vegas or Orlando or
That's
any
right.
tourist place, you can just be like, "Hey, I'm blah blah," and I. They
Well,
tried
you
to
know,
kill
you
I
know
don't
her.
even have a
You know
name
her
anymore.
name.
I
You-
know,
Just blah blah.
You know her name.
but well, nobody. If you when you travel,
Anyway, Britt Baker versus Sheeta in a
no,
match.
she'd have lost again.
Sheeta lost again, but
Mhm.
she had a moment where she thought about hitting Britt with a kendo stick and then was conflicted by it. And does this mean she is leaning towards being a heel?
I want her to be a heel.
Because she didn't use it and then she lost. So maybe she'll regret that.
I want her to be heel and freaking make her like Joshi Mafia crew.
Yeah, there were some photos of her once, wasn't there? Like a photo shoot she did where she's wearing like a suit and holding the kendo stick.
Yes.
And she looked super badass.
Let's
Uh-huh.
go.
I would like
Yes.
that. That would be cool. If she came out in like a suit and then just like destroyed people and then left, that would be fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's go.
That would be cool. I would like that. And she hurt Sky Blue this week in real life, so they can play into
Not
that.
on purpose.
Not
That-
on purpose, no. But they could play into that as like, oh,
Right.
she's like going out killing
Now
people
she's-
now.
Bad now.
That's right.
Oh, and her whole thing, she's like, I'm the first one to make Brit bleed. Like that she was the first one. I think she broke Brit's nose the first.
Yeah, she broke her nose in a match.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
That
You
was
guys-
the iconic like the bloody picture of Britt.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
the iconic moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
But
made me sound like an idiot. Like you both got silent and were like,
sitting there quietly.
Well,
It works. Yeah.
Jesus.
But after the match, Mercedes Mone came out and said that she doesn't want to face Britt at all, and she'd face anyone else but Britt. And then Kamille, who I didn't really know much about, came out and just like destroyed Britt. So I guess Kamille and Mercedes are together now.
yes.
Does anyone know anything
then-
about Kamille? I don't.
I don't. But then Comic-Con happened.
Yes.
And
Comic-Con and Kamille in a Bane mask was
in a
there.
Bane mask, yeah.
Yes. Which was
Bridge,
cool.
You only went to dental school. I rip people's teeth out for fun.
Okay, if she did that, that would be incredible.
Oh my god, it'd be so funny. But yeah, so Mercedes showed up, which I kind of liked the vibe going on at Comic-Con because it felt like an indie crowd.
Yeah.
It was very, very cool, like low key. It felt like an indie crowd, everybody just screaming and yelling. Yeah, so and then they scuffle
And then Tony Khan made it official.
Tony with his really bad acting.
I
I've
love-
had enough.
I love
Bless
Tony.
his heart. He is,
I love Tony Khan because he could easily afford to go get like speech training or like public speaking training and just won't do it. And I just love
so
that.
bad. It's so bad. I've had enough.
And what I love though is that he makes a point to always get his plugs in. He's like, I have had enough. As of last week on AEW Dynamite airing on TBS,
Yes.
you started a problem. And at All In at Wembley Stadium on August 25th, we will have like he makes sure to get like the name of the show in and the name of the title in in the least natural sounding way.
he's literally a
humanly possible.
billionaire. He can have all of the highest of highest people teaching him, and he doesn't do it. He's just winging it.
He's the richest internet wrestling nerd, and I
Yeah.
love it.
He's
He's
just
like
winging it.
he's me if
You
I
feel
had billions of dollars.
I feel like if you were really that big of a fan, you'd actually like try.
Yeah.
But instead, he just straight face. I've had enough on every Wednesday on Dynamite on TBS. Like he just
Yeah.
straight faces it right in the microphone. I'm like, Tony.
It's love. It's to the point where it's endearing though, where it's like it's so bad that it's like fun, and you kind of feel for him. You kind of like him more.
Oh, so he's oh, what did the kids say? He's being a simp? Is that it?
I don't think that's how you use that.
I don't know.
think that term applies.
No, that's isn't a simp when you're like,
It's over. You simp over a girl.
yeah, you like lust over someone. It's
Well,
like-
he's lusting over AEW, I guess.
Wow.
Nice.
I don't know.
Nice.
Boomers have entered the chat.
Well, I was going to do a segue about talking about lust, but I feel icky doing it, so I'm just going to move on to the next topic.
You're welcome.
Mariah May came out.
You
Mhm.
guys wanted me back. Here I am.
Oh, it's so good.
I maintain that this is the best thing AEW has done in possibly ever.
It's good. And the fact, I think it's so good because you can say that probably because it's carried on this long and it's still good.
And it's made like the other top storylines people talk about when they talk about best storylines AEW's done is like Hangman and the Elite or
Yes.
CM Punk and MJF, which were great. I loved both of them. But those were already like established guys, like Kenny Omega or
Mhm.
CM Punk were already like they were main event guys already. Like Toni Storm had been champion, but she wasn't at the level where she is now.
No, she was only ever in like NXT UK.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
on
like
TV.
Mariah May was new to
Mhm.
AEW. Like she like it
She was
turned
in
both of them.
Stardom. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in Stardom, but like
Right,
to
but-
AEW she was new.
Right. We mean like TV, like,
Yeah.
to casual wrestling fans.
Yeah.
So it turned them both from like kind of mid card, relatively
Right.
generic. Like when Toni Storm first came out in AEW, she was like generic face. She like had kind of like a backwards hat and like a kind of pop punk gimmick,
Yeah.
and like she was fine. Like she was a good wrestler. She was fine, but like she wasn't Toni Storm, which she is now.
Timeless Toni Storm.
That's right, and it's made both of them so like
Oh,
it's put
it's-
them over both so well.
Yeah.
And Tony got to scream, "Are you prepared to die?" Because
Die.
I am.
I am. That's so good.
Which was the line was great. The way she delivered it
The
was great.
delivery.
The insane look on her
Her
face.
look.
Well, she did it.
It's so great. I
Like because
love
now
it.
she has like short, like kind of crazy hair. Like look kind of Heath Ledger jokery, where it's like slicked back and like but kind of still messy. It's like, it's great. She's doing an incredible job.
Yeah.
She is at the top of her game. She is. I who compares to her in WWE? Like
Oh, anywhere.
nothing.
Like she's
Nothing.
incredible.
Nobody.
She is. She's at the top of the game in all of AEW.
Yeah. Now, I feel like they kind of have to. This can't just be like a singles match, right? Like a one-on-one match. I feel like they have to add something to it, like a first blood match or a no holds barred match or a shoe in the face match or something.
They're just gonna go at it. And it's gonna be freaking dope.
It's gonna be brutal, even if it's just without stipulations, just because they're building that up this way. There is blood drawn, and
Mariah May taking the bloody shoe with her and like carrying it around.
The shoe, yeah.
There's definitely gonna be a shoe involved, and it's gonna lead to blood. But
I feel like it has to be like a no holds barred match or something, so they can easily hit each other with stuff.
Yeah.
Because if it's a standard rules match, you have to like, knock out the ref and then hit someone in the face with a shoe. Like, no, I want them to like be able to do it like from the get go. Just
they're gonna you want it to be like they're gonna kill each other.
Yeah, just like destroy like from like the opening bell, they just start like destroying. Like that's what I want because they deserve that. It's so good.
Oh, she's so good. Just the way she delivered that line, "Are you prepared to die?"
Yeah.
It's so good. It's what does Vince say? It's such good shit.
Could you? She's married to Juice Robinson. Like,
yeah.
Can you imagine?
We said before, either they're the most insane couple of all time, and they just go around doing like nonsense, or they're like the most boring couple of all time.
You have to be like so boring.
Yeah.
They're absolutely the most boring company.
Like they go home and they like, I must peruse my periodical collection and just like quietly read magazines.
I think they should probably just sit on the couch and like watch TV. They've got to be so boring.
Oh, I had a tough day at work. Oh, let's watch Lost on Netflix. Okay.
I bet you Juice goes home and plays Animal Crossing to relax. And I say that as someone who herself does that.
Yeah, but you're right. They're not watching current TV. They're watching they're watching TV from 10 to 15 years ago. Just because my life is hectic, so I have to just watch The Office or something like that.
Right, I gotta unplug with like a comfy show, like a comfort show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And on a couch, but like they're like also kind of scrolling their phone. Like they're
probably very boring people.
Yeah. And then they're like, AEW time, and they both go nuts. Speaking of nuts, our segue into the main event of the show. I got segues everywhere. I got segues all over the place.
That could have been way better.
I love your segues.
They're not good, but they exist.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Rickless.
No one's ever said that to me before. This is an emotional
Speaking
moment
of
for me.
nuts, I thought you were going into like a sponsorship of Planters or something.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
We don't have
if I just talk about how we're sponsored by Planters.
Oh my goodness.
This is a paid partnership.
Maybe someone from Planters is listening, and if they are, I can talk about your nuts all day long.
If we did have sponsorships, think of the segues I could come up with. Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Blood and guts.
Shockingly,
unexpectedly, the heel team got the advantage. And they get to have the extra person. I'm shocked because that never happens in wrestling, that the heel team would somehow get an advantage. I didn't expect that at all. Now, when the Bucks flipped that coin and then they showed it to the camera, I don't know if either of you saw that. Could you tell that it was a double-sided coin? Because I couldn't.
I did.
I know
they said that.
I guessed that it was a double-sided coin, and the announcers said it was a double-sided coin, but like it was blurry and.
Well, I actually thought it was kind of cheesy how they showed it and then they made sure to show it. Like they went right up to the camera and showed it. I was like, Jesus Christ. Okay, we get it.
Are you saying the Young Bucks did something cheesy and over the top without a point? Because that's not the Young Bucks I know.
Oh my God. Well, like they need to learn some nuance. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they are the opposite of nuance.
No,
they do not understand that word.
Self-awareness makes it worse somehow.
Like it does. It really does. And I bash the Young Bucks a lot, and the audience doesn't seem to like that from what I can tell based on the Threads audience. But hey, Blasco's not here to stop me, so They need to.
I refuse to join threads, but
They need to
oh
stop
my
like
god.
winking and nodding at the camera every time
Right.
they do something. They need to stop being like, we know that you know that we're just doing this as part of our. No, stop. Just take something seriously for 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking.
They need to be reined in, and like there's a lot of good stuff with them, but yeah, that stuff. Oh,
They definitely do need to. Yeah, reined in is the right word. Like they need someone to go, hey, you did
yeah,
a lot of winking and nodding at the camera last week. You sure you want to do that again this week? Maybe you should just
like
do the thing. Yeah.
calm the f down. Look, I censored myself.
But
Okay.
that's what I want. Well, one of the things I wanted to mention on this was they brought out during the match. They both Nicholas and Matthew brought out like these like giant briefcases that said AEW on the side, right? And it was like, what's in the briefcases? This is shocking. And of course, they made a big show about it because they're the Young Bucks. But then, like, Hangman came out and handcuffed Swerve to the cage, which I thought was really cool. And then Swerve later pulled out a staple gun, which, harking back to his thing with Hangman, thought that was cool. And then inside those cases were handcuffs and a staple gun. But like we already saw people use those things. They made a whole giant presentation about, look, we have this case and who knows what could be in it. And all that was in it was like stuff that we already saw in the match. Like
it didn't add anything. It was
right.
Just like,
I thought it was going to be like something crazy, right? Like, oh, it's exploding hat or something. But no, it's just the stuff we already saw in the match from other people who did it better than us.
They need coached. They need coached big time.
Yeah.
They need coached.
But positive. I'm not just gonna bash it. But the Bucks are so extra. They're just so extra all the time.
They need coach, but they have egos. They're not gonna take any coaching.
No,
that's the thing.
You saying the Young Bucks have egos? I don't know. That doesn't seem like the Young Bucks I've heard anything about.
Not
ever.
Nick Jackson with that dollar thing that shoots the dollars to make it rain. No, there's no ego there.
I feel like I should be like angrily eating muffins while I'm going on this rant.
Calm down, Homer Simpson.
Are you in Chicago right now?
I know a great bakery in Chicago though. If anyone's asking, I've heard about it. It's called Bindy's.
I've heard about that.
Anyway, enough bashing the Young Bucks. But I love to bash the Young Bucks. I could do a whole podcast about it, but I won't. I have the self-awareness and self-restraint that they lack.
You want to go into Jericho stuff?
No, I refuse.
Because he tries to lure you in, like, hey.
No, I won't do it because he wants that attention so bad.
Hey, Rick.
And even though we're not the biggest podcast, but I refuse.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Rick.
She's like the little devil on my shoulder, be like, you want to talk about it. You
That's
do.
how I feel about CM Punk. Like, I don't want to acknowledge him because that's how much I hate him. And he doesn't deserve my thoughts.
I don't even hate Jericho. I just don't want to see him on TV. That's
so
it.
Annoying. Okay, we've talked enough about Jericho.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the match. Good things. I don't want to be a hater. I want to talk about cool stuff. And this match had a lot of cool stuff. And most of it was Swerve because he is the coolest man alive.
He really is cool.
That segment when they all, did pull out the staple guns and they all took turns like stapling Swerve and he fell down and then just like started laughing and stood. That was the coolest thing I've seen in a while.
You guys can go back probably over a year ago and I'm like, Swerve is the frick coolest.
He is. And he has he's not the biggest guy, obviously, but he has the badass energy that he would kill himself if it could also kill you. It just seems cool.
Because he has that character he taps into and he goes a little crazy, and that's kind of what that character would do. I'll take you down. If I'm going out, you're coming with me. He's very much kind of like you say, a Joker character.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
But them going all in, no pun intended, and the whole team ganged up on him and beat him down, and he just starts laughing, and it's that's not enough. You thought that would be enough? Of course, that's not enough. It was just really
that's
cool.
What's cool about him.
Very cool. And then him and Hangman fell through a box beside the stage and disappeared forever, which they biddied themselves out of the match. Suddenly they were just gone.
Yeet.
I'd like to say now I've become a verb. They biddied themselves
They
out of the
biddied
match.
themselves out of the match. That's right. So it ended with Jack Perry being handcuffed to the cage. And there's a couple things to talk about here. First of all, what did you think of him taking a chair shot to the head? People were mad about it.
I mean, I get why people were mad about it because it's Jack Perry and it's the same thing.
And I do think like you shouldn't be taking chair shots directly to your face. Like that's not.
No, I mean, of all things, yeah, I get when they do it to the back. That's a really common one is the back.
Yeah.
But like to your head, I mean, CTE is a thing, and
It seemed to me like it was like a softened up chair because it broke apart as soon as he got hit with it. Like you're still getting hit in the face with something, whether
right.
or
Like
not
I get
they
it's
like.
not. I get it's like it's rigged or altered, and it's meant to look worse than it really is. But you're still hitting yourself in the head with something, and that's so bad.
If only someone had told him to stop doing that internet bullshit, and that he's going to hurt himself, then maybe this all could have been avoided. But we have no one to do something like that. So hey,
it does not occupy my thoughts.
So Darby, of course, like a sane person would do, followed this up by pouring gasoline all over Jack Perry and threatening to set him on fire. Which at that point, Matthew Jackson said, "No, I'll give you your TNT title shot. Don't do that." And now here's where I have a complaint that we've touched on before, and it's not about the fire.
Can I please interject?
Yes.
CM Punk definitely masturbated to that. I know you're going to edit that out.
I am not. That is strange. That's going to go on a reel somewhere.
Let's go in the Hall of Fame. Podcast Hall of Fame.
But here's my attempt to get this back on rails.
Sorry.
Here's my complaint with that. We saw earlier in the night that Christopher Daniels and Tony Khan can give you a title shot because they gave Will Ospreay a title shot. Then we saw at Comic-Con that Tony Khan himself can give someone a title shot.
I cannot imagine where this is going
because he
with
did.
The VIP.
Now we've seen that apparently Matt Jackson can give you a title shot. Which, two things. One, couldn't Darby have just asked Tony Khan for the title shot like the others did and just got it? Because, you know, they did it without setting someone on fire. So why couldn't he just have done that? Two, a couple of weeks ago, the Young Bucks distinctly told Christian that they couldn't give him a title shot because they don't have that power. And then apparently now they do have that power. So either are the Young Bucks shockingly inconsistent, which I will not believe, or were they lying to Christian, which is a perhaps worse offense.
I kind of like the idea that they'd be lying to Christian, like they're playing favorites. I mean, I kind of like that.
That would make sense, and that would be fun. I would like that.
Right. And like, oh, hey, we're playing. We don't have the power to give you a title match, but then, oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like they're lying about it. Like, I kind of like that idea. That it's not that they don't have any power; it's that they're picking and choosing what to do with it.
Yeah, that would be better.
It a little more sinister.
That would be better, and I hope that that's what it is.
Is this how Christian becomes a babyface?
I feel like the way Christian becomes a babyface is Adam Copeland comes back and someone attacks him and Christian comes to save him. Matt Jackson quits before his friend gets set on fire because apparently seeing his friend get set on fire once was fine, but seeing his friend get set on fire a second time was too much, and he quit. Now, I know last year they did kind of the same thing where like Wheeler Yuta was getting beaten down and Mox quit on his behalf. Is it weird that twice in a row the heels have been the ones who are like, that's too much, we're going to quit?
I mean, how else do you top the whole fire setting thing last time? I mean, so where do you go from there?
Yeah, they are kind of at a point where like, yeah, where do you go from there? Because you literally did set him on fire previously. And I mean, what do you do now? You can't just set him on fire every week. I mean, but I did find it weird that the heels both times had to be like the guys who were saying, oh, this is too much. Right. You have to stop. Like, it is weird that the face is the one freaking out and setting people on fire, and the
Seems
heels
a
are the
little
ones being like,
backwards.
yeah. But I mean, it works because it's Darby, and everyone loves Darby. Just like it worked when Swerve threatened Hangman's baby. Like, technically, Swerve
Oh
was
my
wrong.
God.
Technically, Hangman is right in this feud, and Swerve is wrong. But, like,
Yeah.
everyone just loves Swerve so much that they just, like, no, it was cool to threaten that kid. That's fine. He probably got it coming. So what did we all think of Blood and Guts? What are your thoughts?
I didn't see it.
All right, Jay?
I didn't watch it either. I know, I'm a great wrestling fan. I'm sorry.
I told both of you this week, you have to both be here, because it's going to be just me talking to myself otherwise.
Well,
So you have to both come on. And you both
Yeah,
said, yep, we're going to be
every
here.
week.
And then it's just me talking to myself anyway.
every
But
week is
now
you
I
talking
feel
to
like
yourself
an
anyways.
idiot.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a bad fan. I just don't. I'm yawning now. Do you think I'd actually make it through an episode of Dynamite?
It's
I'm
long.
so
Oh,
I'm
it's
so
only.
tired. At least, I mean, I'll give them credit. Their shows are 2 hours, whereas like Monday Night Raw is 3 hours of just boring hell. And
Dynamite is
Right.
like the problem is that it's we're old and it ends at 10 o'clock, right? So that's the issue
know.
with it.
and I get it.
But-
They can't put it on TV until 8 o'clock.
Right, I get that. But like Dynamite does go fast. Like
It does.
it's a quick moving show.
It is a
moves
lot quicker
quickly.
than Raw or SmackDown.
And
It feels
stuff's always happening, so like you stay tuned into it and you stay focused
Right.
on it because like there's always stuff going on.
And they do the commercial breaks. Like I've mentioned that before. That's the one thing AEW does so much better, is the way they space out their commercials with with like entrances and things like that. Like, WWE is terrible with that. But I just, like I said, it's 9:44 as we're recording this, and I want to go in the other room and crawl into bed right now. I'm tired.
Now, the last thing I wanted to mention, because I feel like I should mention it because AEW hasn't been mentioning it, is Battle of the Belts is this weekend. And could
Oh.
you think of a thing that they have done worse than Battle of the Belts? Because it means absolutely nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's.
Well,
The
most
only
of their-
match they've announced is Toni Storm, and I forget even who she's facing, in like an eliminator match. It's not even a title match. It's like a Taya Valkyrie in a match that, like, if she wins, she gets a title shot. So it's like, it's not even a title match.
It just. But Tony tries to smoosh so much into such a. He tries to smoosh so much.
I don't know why they're still having them, to be honest.
yeah,
needs-
and I just
Especially since Collision started, because now it's on, I think it's on Saturday, so it's on
Yes.
after Collision, which, like, that makes it a 3-hour thing, which is better, I guess, to put it on after Collision than
I
just
guess,
have it
but
than to have it be its own show.
aside from like Blasco though, like who is waiting around on a Saturday night to watch wrestling?
Especially
Oh.
because, like, it's going to be after Collision, right? So Collision's 8 to
Right.
10, and then that's 10 to 11, and, like, it's Battle of the Belts. We've seen, I don't know, 9 of them now. Nothing
No.
ever happens on those shows.
Right. And
Like,
it's Saturday and it's summertime and I'm out doing stuff.
yeah.
As
I'm not
a-
sitting
as-
at home.
Yeah, as a grown-ass adult, the most I can dedicate is Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
It's
did.
easy on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I've said this before.
that's
My
perfect,
AEW
but-
viewing, I was burned out by it, and like it got better when I decided I'm only watching Dynamite. And realistically, you don't really miss much when you
No.
don't watch the other shows. You can just
I-
watch Dynamite and be fine.
Well, you can watch Dynamite and then catch up with everything on YouTube or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
you find out what sounds cool or what sounds like
Right,
people liked,
right.
and then you watch the clips. Yeah,
Right.
And I think that's a perfectly acceptable way to watch television.
yeah.
Parting words, because we're gonna end this soon. The All In this year, I think last year was like, it was just cool that they were doing a stadium show, and it didn't really matter what was on the card because it was just cool that they were having that many people at a show. This year, I feel like they're booking some incredible matches. Like they're booking Danielson Swerve, they're booking Toni Storm, Mariah May, MJF, Ospreay, Britt Baker,
No, that's-
and Mercedes. Like this is what it should be, in my opinion.
There's-
This is like their
there's-
WrestleMania.
Right. They're setting up this is going to be Danielson's last time. Like, last
His
full
last
time-
Raw.
hurrah. Yeah.
Now, I haven't watched the interview. He had an interview with Renee Paquette that for some reason Jeff Jarrett came in and sat down and talked to him for a while, which I thought was completely out of nowhere, but that's
Unrelated, but Jeff Jarrett ran from Effie and never came back. He hit Effie with a guitar and he was supposed to do a GCW show, and then all of a sudden he ended up on WWE and everybody's like, what just happened?
He does that. He showed up in TNA once and hit someone with a and then just like never showed up again. Like he does that.
It was like a whole big promo he did and everything, and then he showed up one night at GCW. I think it was I think Effie was wrestling Cardona. I could be wrong because it was a big match. And he shows up and he hits Effie with the guitar, and then like next week he's on Monday Night Raw, and everybody's
He
like,
does that. I think he did that in New
"What's
Japan too. I feel like he went to New Japan for like a week and then just never came back again.
And then he never like nothing ever happened. It
Yeah,
never-
he'll do that. It's odd. I do love that he's been like at least somewhat over for like 30 years, and his only thing is hitting people with guitars. But it works. But yeah, Danielson, apparently he said his contract runs out August 1st. Obviously they're going to extend it or something. I feel like this is his like full-time wrestling contract ends on August 1st, and he's like part-time wrestling contract.
Do you think he'll stick around, like not wrestling, but maybe do other
No.
things with the
He's-
company? Or do you think he's just gonna be done?
He's going to
he's
wrestle forever.
No, he's about to be like the second in command for Tony Khan. Like,
Well, that's what I meant. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna stick around and do stuff with the company.
I think he can't not wrestle. I think he'll fully intend to do that and be like, I'm going to work at a backstage role and help train people and help whatever. And then after like 3
Yeah.
weeks, he'll be like, oh, I want to wrestle this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy. And they'll be like, Danielson, you retired. He's like, no, but only after these 17 matches. I just want to do these 17 matches. And then he'll do those and be like, oh, there's another 10 guys I really want to wrestle. Like, I don't think he'll never stop wrestling. He
I
loves
feel
it
like,
so
and I
much.
feel like his wife is just like, yeah, that's him.
I think him and Mox, they could be no one in the crowd, and they could be 75 years old, and they'd be like, oh, there's this guy from Japan
let's
that
go.
that no one's ever heard of.
I gotta throw
But
this
I've
guy
seen
out.
wrestle. I'm gonna
Speaking-
wrestle him in an empty. And Renee and Brie are both sitting there like, really, guys, still.
Speaking of Mox, did you guys see Renee's tweet? I'm so glad my husband isn't in this match.
No.
She hates it. She hates the hardcore
You
stuff.
know
with
that
people.
he was probably sitting at home going, man, I wish I was in this match.
She's just like,
Oh, he's,
yeah,
probably, he's probably sitting there like vibrating, like.
Mox is like,
he's-
I'm not bleeding. I'm not making anyone else bleed. What am I even doing?
he's petting their dog Blue aggressively, like,
Yeah.
I need to be in there.
He has a fork and he's just like clenching it, just like stabbing at his plate, being like, come on, man.
He's like, Renee, then we buy skewers for freaking. Then we buy a bunch of He stabs him with his freaking head. He's like,
He's like
ah.
aggressively like cooking dinner, like cutting up
Yeah.
meat, just like very angrily. Yeah. Anyone else have anything to say? Anything at
Biddy.
all? Fun, exciting things.
Well, I'm sorry. I've been gone. I'm back.
Oh, we
It was a
understand,
shit
Benny. We
show.
love you.
No,
we wanted
know
you
life
back.
happened for
We
sure.
wanted you back.
We've
Well-
missed this, what you bring.
Yes, we missed the bittyness of the show. It's been missing the bittyness. Now, on that note, everyone remember to like, share, subscribe. I mean, don't necessarily share this episode. Share one of the other ones.
Wow, rude.
But share, subscribe, like, comments, whatever. What else do? You smash the button.
Smash that bell on YouTube.
That's right.
I
Do
don't
all
know if
those
that
things.
works. The
I don't
Game
know.
Grumps told me.
Sounds like it's a thing that you should do. But everyone should do that because you love us and you want more of us in your lives. So you need to get notified when we say
We're
stuff.
pretty great. Even though Rick's really vain, we're pretty great. He just likes to talk about himself.
And as soon as I'm done, I'm just going to listen to this back and be like, oh, yeah, you made some good points, Rick. That's really smart. Nice job. All right. Thanks, everyone. And we'll be back next week. Bye.